This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Pooja. Okay.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, Rajiv.
hey. I was just mentioning tomorrow we'll not have class due to Navratri. Okay. So,
Okay. Yeah, okay, no problem.
yeah, where were we? I think we are almost complete with Jira stuff, right? Writing of stories, we are aware.
Mm, Yeah,
You know, and I think we just wanted to write few things over the weekend, try out few things over the weekend. Anything that you want to check on with me based out of your exploration over the weekend?
actually, I was not well, so I didn't get a chance.
Okay, okay.
I'm still not well, so that's why.
Hmm.
Even
Rajiv,
I
I
didn't get time, Rajiv. It was weekend was busier than weekdays.
Easy. Understand, understand. Yeah, me, you're
Yeah,
adding
but we'll
something?
try. We'll
So,
definitely try and let you know if we have anything.
Sure, sure.
Mm.
Okay.
Rajiv, I was not there on Friday and I watched the whole session today.
Mm.
As of my understanding, are we going to get in the detail with you for templates?
No, there is. It's
Or will
more
it
of
be on your
a
own?
no. It's more of a additional thing. There is no mandatory templates a BA should use. It's all
Okay.
like optional for you. So that's the reason I wanted you to explore
But
on
it
that.
will be useful for collecting all the datas, right?
Yes,
For
yes,
meeting and stuff?
100%. It will be useful. It would be
Yes.
useful, definitely. So you can explore those templates, but when you explore, if you have any questions, I can touch upon that.
Okay, okay. Yes.
We'll
So
not
I
have a
know.
separate
Okay.
session
I,
for that.
I
So
get it.
for
And
so for this, it's almost done, right?
Sorry?
For this online stuff,
invite-
this
Yes, yes,
Miss-
yes. Correct.
writing a
Jira is
story,
almost
it's almost
correct.
there.
Correct. Yes, yes,
Okay, so
that's
there
right.
is nothing else except this what you taught in detail.
Yeah, 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 right.
But
That's
you
right.
but you need to just show that once you start the sprint, after that, what happens?
Hmm. I
I
think
think we
I
did
showed
not
that,
do
right?
that.
No, we did. Okay, let me share my screen and show again. I thought we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, we just put some stuff on the sprint, but
Hmm.
after that, what it is actually, how it goes, we didn't knew
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
So that's why.
sure, sure. So, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Yeah,
yet. Okay.
now we can see.
Okay. So we pulled few items to the sprint, and the sprint
Yeah,
was started.
yeah.
And we also made few things development in progress.
Yes.
Now the sprint is in progress. Yes,
Okay.
6 issues, and this would complete on 14th of October. We
Okay.
have mentioned the sprint goal. Now you are in the middle of the sprint.
Okay.
Assume you as a product owner, you try to push one more item to the sprint in the middle of the sprint. Then it asks, sprint scope will be affected by this action. Do you really want to do it? Because if you do this, in all the metrics, it would be highlighted saying that in the middle of the sprint, the scope was added, which ideally we should not.
Okay.
Okay. So for now, I'll cancel this.
Okay.
Or anyway, it's more for experimentation purpose, right? I'll show you what happens when you increase the scope. I'll just add this. Oh, by the way, what I'll do is I'll give story points to this. I'll give you 5 story points. Let me give 5 story points. Where is it? I'll close this. I'll make this 5 story pointer. Okay. I'll assign this to someone. Maybe me. Okay. And now I'll pull it to the sprint. Let's see what happens. So I'll confirm. So it says this will move to the sprint. Sprint scope will be affected. I'll confirm. What happened now? The story points increased. Now let's go to the reports and see what happens. We'll go to reports. We'll go to BURNUP report. Okay, BURNUP we don't need. But here also it sees. See, you have increased the scope by 5 story points here. Clearly
Yeah.
shows. So the management will ask a question. Why was it increased? What was the reason? So here also, if you see, the scope is increased today. The scope is increased, which ideally should not happen.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
what
that's
if
one thing.
now if it's already increased? So what we have to work on that? It's like that.
Yeah, we have to work on and still, meet this goal. By October 14th, we should be,
Okay.
our line should be here. Our line
Okay.
should meet this line. Oh, I have
Mm.
not yet explained BURNDOWN BURNUP chart, right? I'll explain, maybe that time you will
Yeah.
understand. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So this is what happens in sprint, and slowly, as and when you complete the work, this would be moved, maybe test in progress and then done. So assume this is done. Assume this is done. I'm just moving it just for the sake of understanding. Assume these three are done. I'll go to reports and see what happens. Is, you see, we have completed three stories. I just closed three stories, right? That's the reason the line came down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
how it is. And finally, on the last day of the sprint, you will end the sprint. You'll close the sprint.
Okay.
Okay, and assume if any of the story is not completed and you try to close the sprint, then it will give you an option. Look, so and so items is not completed. Do you still want to close the sprint? If you and do you want to carry forward those stories to the next sprint, or do you want to push it to backlog? It gives an option. You can either carry
Okay.
forward to the next sprint or push it to the backlog. You can do it.
Okay.
Okay. And in the meantime, while the team is working on this, you will be working on the backlog, and the team has, if the team has any queries or questions on this, you will be helping the team on it. This is what you will be doing.
Okay.
Anything else you want to specifically know?
Not really right now.
Okay. How about others?
Rajiv, I just want to briefly know about the template brainstorming. The
Brain
others I check
tem-
and I have little bit of understanding, but the
template
brainstorming,
is uh-huh.
if you can
Template.
give
Let's go
little
to
bit of detail.
sure. Even I have not gone through all the templates. I don't use so many, so but let's go through it.
I just went through one too, but I did not get a proper understanding how it is
Mm,
used, when it is used,
mm.
why it is used.
Okay, okay. Brainstorming template, is it? Okay. This is
Yes.
by Mural. Okay. Use template. Let's see. Okay. So who is the facilitator of the brainstorming session? Who are the participants? You can invite architects, dev and all those people. When was the date? Video conference link on this page, table of contents, whatever you will be discussing, right? What is the goal of the brainstorming? The goal of the brainstorming session can be, same example, finalize the registration technique, Assume. Finalize the registration methods. Brainstorming method, visit Mural to check out the brainstorming templates. I don't think
Yeah,
we'll
so
have to
my
install.
this one was the confusion. Like, do we have to know all this detail?
No, 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 not required, not required. See, they are
Oh,
only promoting their product.
okay,
They want us to, install this mural and use it. Not required. And this would be a paid product. Oh, it says
so Rajiv,
sign up
when
free
it
forever.
just question came in my mind. So the first step when we collect the requirement from the stakeholders, do we have to
Mm-hmm.
jot down on paper and then we put everything on the computer, or it's day one we have to put everything in the computer?
No, no, no. It's your comfort. There is no hard and fast rule. Day one, you have to put everything on computer, or
Okay.
it works for you. But the sooner the better. The
Yes,
sooner the
but we
better.
can write it
So
down, right? Like on a paper, if I mean,
yes,
then
yes, hundred
put out the
percent.
whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe,
Yeah.
you write it down, and after that, you kind of sit down, try to recollect things, and then put it into a computer. Yeah, that should be totally fine.
Okay.
Okay. So now brainstorming method, you can just ignore this mural link. Visit mural to check out the brainstorming templates, right? So there is no hard and fast rule you have to use this. So just
Okay.
delete this. Where is it? Yeah, delete this. Yeah. Creative matrix silent circuit quickly generate ideas to address a wide range of people and situations. So which method you want to use? Okay, round robin. Round robin or idea prioritization is the best ones, right? We don't want all these things. So okay. So you'll use idea brainstorming method. These two should be enough. Participants instructions. Uh, yeah, pre- review the brainstorm inputs, goals, and agenda. Open mind. So, instructions. This is more of instructions. That's all. Like, you'll say, okay, we'll have 5 minutes for each person. Each person can put their idea on the table, and then we can discuss. So such kind of instructions you can, provide. And pre-work in case if there is any pre-work that has to be done. And agenda. What are the items that you want to brainstorm on? I told registration techniques or anything else if you want. How much time do you want to spend? And outcomes. What are the outcomes that you came up with? What are the final registration techniques that you have finalized? That's the outcome. And summary of results and decisions. So you can add. Pretty straightforward only, right? Just that I
Yeah.
think that mural thing confused you.
Yeah, this
Right?
one, the goals and everything. It was like, what is that thing?
Where
Yeah, what we deleted the method and stuff like this.
so
Yeah.
I think those are various techniques that are used to
Okay.
do brainstorming. We need not worry about all those techniques. You just use round robin and idea prioritization. What is round robin? You know, no, try to get a fresh perspective from each of them in the room. Go one by one and try to get the details. Get their inputs. Idea prioritization. Assume you have five to five, 3 to 5 ideas. You take the prioritization from each of them and see who has prioritized, or how many have prioritized the most. How many have prioritized an item most. So based on that you prioritize. So yeah, there is no rule that you need to know all the techniques that's there.
Okay.
Okay, but otherwise it's simple only, right?
Mm-hmm. And Rajiv, the other question is when we are writing these user stories and stuff, we are now doing more familiar subject and we like visualize everything what we know.
hmm
But my thing is any knowledge of software, what is software and how it build? Do we need to see some videos about it, like to help to make stories,
Mm,
or it will be
okay.
helpful, or we don't have to go in that part?
See, I understand what you're asking. So basically, there is uh, uh, videos, videos for basically basic technical things that you as a uh, product owner or product manager need to know when you're talking to your developers. So actually, I don't know. I have purchased those videos. It's a paid one. I've purchased
Mhm.
those videos. I'm not sure if I can share those, but definitely, basic technical knowledge would be needed. Like what is front end, what is back end, or what technologies are used in front end, what technologies are used in back end, and what is a database, how database, data is uh, you know what do you say, read, and how database, basically all those basic technical details. If you know, it's an advantage. You can understand faster. There is no
Right,
hard and fast rule. You need to know all those things. You can be pure functional, but it's a disadvantage for you if you are pure functional. You will be left out in the crowd when the team is discussing anything technical. So it's
right,
always better to know the technical things. So
right.
that
So
way,
do you have any source? Do you have any source to view, or do we have to search on our own?
I have a course to view, but it is a more of a my personal login, and it's a
Oh,
paid
okay.
one. It's a paid one and my
Or just
personal
give
login.
us a, like, we can YouTube it, like, just give us a name, like what it could be.
Mm,
Like the title, so we can search it on YouTube.
mm, I don't think that's there in YouTube, but if there is, I'll check for YouTube videos and share, maybe
Okay.
better. But I'll search for your YouTube videos and share. Yeah. Okay, is it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise, I recently purchased that. It was around $175, which I
I have
paid.
a
And then
Udemy, or what that is. I have some courses on that too. I can buy on that too. So is it
Udemy
available?
courses I can check. But let me see how to do this. Okay,
Okay.
I'll try to get YouTube videos. So see, if I
Okay.
can share some documents or things. Okay,
Okay.
okay, fine. And what else? Yeah, that's on the technical aspects, right? Sure, I'll figure out something how to do this.
Please. Yeah.
Either I'll
Thank you.
share the YouTube videos or how to do it.
Yeah.
Fine. What else? Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Nothing, Rajiv.
Okay, fine. Sure. Then shall we continue with the content, course content, PPT? We'll go back to the PPT.
Sure.
Okay. Right. Give me 1 minute. Where did we stop? Oh, this is done. I think this is also done. This is also done. This is also done. Okay. This is where we stopped, right?
Yeah,
Deep
yeah, we should.
backlogs.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Now, next is sequence. Okay. This came up in one of my previous classes with a different batch where I had a request, okay, we are learning stuff, but we are not getting the sequence. How does it flow and things? So for that, and who is responsible for what? So for that, I just put a sequence from where it starts and where it ends.
Okay.
So it all starts with the vision of the product, right? It all starts with vision of the product. There should be a long-term vision. Oh, I have not yet thought a couple of these things, by the way. I have not yet touched upon a couple of these things, which I'll be touching upon in upcoming slides. But it all starts with a vision. We should have a vision, so which would be owned by the product manager. However, you as a product owner, you will be giving inputs to the vision. Okay, and then we have requirements gathering, where you as a product owner and product manager, both of you work together, get the requirements gathered. So basically, you identify all the stakeholders, you do the market gap analysis and other things. Market research would be done by product manager based out of his inputs would be provided, and SWOT and pestle analysis would be done by product manager, which I have not yet covered. I'll cover that in upcoming slides. SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Okay, of your product. What is the strength of your product? What is the weakness of your product? What are the opportunities that you have in your product? What are the threats that you see? Those kind of analysis. Pestle is also little detailed. This is absolutely done by product manager, not by you. Pestle is more for political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental factors that we consider for the project. Okay, we'll cover these in detail. So, and then impact analysis would be done, basically, to see how is the project that you're doing impacting, or how is the requirement that you are accomplishing, how is the feature that you are adding impacting the product. Impact analysis is done. So these are all about requirement elicitation. Once you have the requirements, then the roadmap is built. Roadmap is again owned by the product manager, but again, you as a product owner, you'll give inputs, right? And then, once you have the roadmap, you'll start building the product backlog. You'll start building the product backlog, and based on the prioritization techniques I have not yet touched upon, I'll teach you in upcoming slides. You'll build the product backlog, which is owned by you. And then you have grooming or refinement session. That is, you groom the team about the product backlog. Then the planning happens. You'll be part of it. Then the development happens. You'll have daily scrum where you are active participant. Then you have sprint review where the uh, items that are developed is showcased. Then you have sprint retrospective, and you have release. You'll release the product. That is go to market, which is a collaborative work between project manager, product owner, product manager, everyone. Okay, does it make sense?
Yeah.
So this is a sequence. Mostly we have covered the second part of it, but here few things are not covered. We'll cover it. Okay. Any questions before we move ahead?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now let's try to understand what is burn down chart, burn up chart. Okay. Now burn down chart and burn up chart. Now let's first discuss the burn down chart. This is how it looks. On the x-axis, by the way, this is automatically generated as you make the progress in Jira. You are not manually doing it, right? And why do we use this? We use this burn down chart and burn up chart to see how we are progressing in the sprint or the project itself. Okay, in the sprint, how are we progressing? If you want to see, you know, you can use the burn down chart or burn up chart for the project level. Usually, burn up chart is used at the project level. Burn down chart is used at the sprint level. Okay, on the x-axis, you will have days of the sprint. Ignore this iteration, have this days of the sprint. First day of the sprint, second day of the sprint, third day of the sprint, or you can have dates. In Jira, if you see, there are dates. I'll show that. Okay, and on the y-axis, you have story points. What are the story points that are committed to be completed? You'll have the story points. Okay, this blue line indicates the expected pace at which we need to complete the stories if we have to reach the sprint goal in those 2 weeks. If we have to reach the sprint goal in 2 weeks, this is how the work has to progress day on day basis. That's the expected line. The red line indicates the actual line. This is how we are progressing day on day, day on day, as the sprint progresses. If this red line is above this blue line, that indicates that we are behind schedule, meaning we are behind schedule. Like for example, here, take this. By the end of 5th day, we should have completed 40 story points and only 60 should have been remaining. However, the actual says you have completed only 30 story points and 70 story points are remaining. That means you are behind schedule. If this red line is below blue line, that means we are ahead of schedule. We are ahead of schedule. Okay. So on day basis, this progress you can see. Let's come to Jira and see that. Try to compare it. So switch to Jira. And then I will go to reports. Okay. Then I'll go to burn down chart. This is how we approach. If you see here, this is on the x-axis you have the days. The sprint started on this day, ends on October 14th. If you have to complete the committed 25 story points, this is how we need to progress. Until today, we were behind schedule. Correct? We were behind schedule. Then we closed few stories. That indicated we are now ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Right? We are ahead of schedule. So ultimately, this orange line should meet this line by the end of October 14th. If it's not meeting this line, if it ends somewhere here, then that is the number of story points that we have not completed. If this orange line meets this x-axis somewhere here, then that indicates that we have completed the work early in the sprint. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that is burn down chart. Any questions before we go to burn up chart?
No.
Okay.
So Raji, if
I'm,
story has
yeah,
not completed in that sprint, we can carry forward to second sprint, right?
yes, you can carry forward. Ideally, that is not not the ideal scenario, but you don't want to do that. But unexpected
Okay.
situations can make you carry forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. What else? Let's go to burn up chart. Burn up chart is very similar to burn down chart, just that we have one other factor called scope included. Here, here again, the blue line indicates the expected, and the red line indicates the scope. Red line indicates the actual. And on the x-axis, you'll have either the days or sprints. This can be the sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, or it can be day 1 of the sprint, day 2 of the sprint, day 3 of the sprint, whichever you want. And story points. So similar to this, if this red line is below blue line, then that indicates you are behind schedule. If this red line is above blue line, then that it indicates you are ahead of schedule. You need not worry about burn up chart. To be frank, burn down chart should be enough. However, the only reason that we use burn up chart is to figure out if there was any scope that was increased in between the sprint. Like a while back, I just pulled us the story to the sprint, right? That would be indicated here. Hey, look, on this particular day, in the middle of the sprint, the scope of the sprint was increased. That would be highlighted. That is the only reason you you used a burn up chart. Otherwise, everything else is covered in burn down chart itself. This indicates if the scope was increased or decreased during the sprint or during the course of the project.
Yeah.
So let me come to this and see. Go back. How does the burn up looks? Let's look at the burn up. Yeah. So this is a burn up. So this green line indicates the completed work. Like this green line indicates completed work. We have completed around 10 story points. Oh no, that is the ID, right? So this is 5, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 13 story points is completed. See, this red line is the main thing here. This indicates the work scope has been increased by 5 story points, right? Everything else remains the same. It also shows here. It also shows here, what was pulled. So what was added to the sprint? You see here, this was added to the sprint. So the scope increased from 25 story points to 30 story points. Okay, this is burn up chart. Any questions here?
And how that increase happen? Like it is it decided in the middle of the sprint?
See, in the mid of the sprint, assume a priority comes, which the product manager cannot wait until next sprint, and they want to do it immediately. Product manager or client or whoever it is, if they want to do it immediately and cannot wait until next sprint, if you don't have any option, then you have to pull it to the sprint.
Okay.
If
And
it if
Raji,
it if it can wait until next sprint, then you will not pull it into the sprint. You will take it in the next sprint.
correct,
Yeah, go
correct.
ahead. Sorry.
And do we
Mm.
have to decide the story point, or manager will decide the story point?
The story points is decided by the team. Again, there is a technique that is used called as planning poker, where everyone will pick a card saying how many story points it is, and based on m- the assume it's like this. I explain the story as a product owner. Now the scrum master will tell, okay, based on the understanding, you tell the scrum master will ask how much effort is needed for the sprint, for the story, and each one of them give us story points. If it is not If it is not the same story points everyone is giving, then we ask the one who gives the highest story points and the least story points, why do you think it's this number or X number or
Yeah.
Y number? And then we continue that, repeat that process until everyone agrees on a story point.
Okay. And
This is called, mm,
that will decide in what time period before we
this
make.
is during planning. This is all we're doing in planning session,
Okay.
sprint planning.
Right. Okay.
That is why we say, we need 4 hours for planning.
Correct. Correct.
Mm. So all this is done in planning, and you need not worry about this. You as a product owner,
So now,
you need
now we are getting in detail and we know everything step by step. So I'm just confirming everything like when, what, how. So
correct,
it
correct. Understand,
makes
understand.
better sense. Yeah.
Agree, agree. No, no, but I am generally saying, as a product owner, you will not do this. It is a responsibility of the Scrum Master. You just sit
Correct.
back and watch. And if the team has any queries, you will clarify there.
Clarify. Okay.
Hmm? That's all. Yeah, yeah. Any other questions?
No.
No.
No, Rajesh.
Okay, fine. Next is story points itself. Did we cover this?
Yes, we did, but you wanted to explain in detail later, so
Okay,
maybe today.
sure, sure, sure. Okay. So now we are coming up with this numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So what is the rationale behind determining this number? Is something we'll try to figure that out now. Now, okay. Uh, we keep 3 factors. By the way, first of all, when you see these numbers, does this ring a bell? Why is it 1, 2, 3? There is no 4. There is no 6, 7. There is no 9, 10, 11, 12. Any thoughts? What is this series of number called as? Have you come across it?
No.
Have you heard of Fibonacci series? F
What
I
is it?
B O N
What is it?
F Fibonacci series. FIBONACCI.
No.
Fibonacci. No.
No, so maybe in primary school, max it would have been thought where it's like this, you know, is the addition of previous two numbers. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 8, 21. It goes on. That series is Fibonacci series, incremental. So
Okay.
this is the story points this is the numbers that is used for story point estimation. Okay. So we keep 3 factors in mind. One is how much knowledge do we have about the story? That is, how much do we know about the story? Two is, do we have any dependencies for the story? And finally, we say how much time will it consume. Whenever we say estimation, usually people will think it's just about the time, correct? It's just about the time, but actually we take the other 2 factors also into consideration, the knowledge and the dependencies that are there in the story. Okay, so assume a scenario where you know everything that's needed for the story. Everything that is needed for the story is known. You understand everything. As per grooming session, you understand everything, and there are no dependencies at all. And you feel that this is something that can be completed within a day. Then you say it's a one story pointer. If it's a yeah, if it's something that can be completed within a day, then we say it's a one story pointer. Okay. Next is you say you almost know everything. You almost know everything. Here and there, small clarifications, which is not a blocker, and you can clarify those things with the product owner as you progress in the sprint, right? And there are no dependencies, and it will take around 1 to 2 days. Then you say it's a two-story pointer. Then general concept, meaning in general you know how it is done. Like for example, in general you know how username and password is created. But as I progress, there might be a few questions again, which can be clarified with product owner, and there are no dependencies. There are 1 or 2 dependencies in terms of like if I have to uh, like with the product owner itself, I need a business rule or I need some screen. So there is a dependency saying that I need a mock-up screen, how it looks. So that if the product owner says I'll give it in next 2 to 3 days, then if the user if the developer is fine, then okay. And if the developer feels that it will take 3 to 4 days, then it would be a 3 story pointer. And if there are a lot of doubts, a lot of ambiguity in the story, the few dependencies, if it takes 4 to 6 days, then we give a 5 story pointer. And if absolutely there are too many doubts and there are a lot of dependencies and it takes 6 to 10 days, then we gave it a 8 story pointer. Finally, the last one, 13 story pointer. If you see any scenario where you come up with 13 story pointer, ideally you have to tell the product owner, look, break it into 2 stories. We don't want to take it as 1 story, break it into smaller stories. So you as a product owner, you have to at this point pitch in and break this big story into smaller stories. Okay, so these are the 3 factors that you keep in mind while you are determining the story points. Make sense?
Yes.
I mean,
So the
Pooja.
story
Yeah.
point the story point number will be remain same for any project, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13.
Yes. Story points format itself is this. Nobody uses 4, 6, 7. And all.
Okay, okay, good to know that. Okay. Yep.
So that means if a story is going to take 3 to 4 days, then we have to put 3 story points like that.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, got it. How will we get to know that this story is going to take 3 to 4 days?
Uh,
That's on how
in the
much you
plan,
know.
in the planning meeting, you would have already explained the
Okay,
story in the grooming session. So in the planning meeting, uh, you know, you know how much time it might take. You know the how it has to be done,
okay,
first of
we'll
all.
get an idea. We'll get an idea.
Yeah, and with the estimation from the team, everybody will give their inputs. This is what we have to do. This is what I have to do. This is what have to do. So if I have to do these 3 things, how much time do I need? So it's more of your over a period of time with experience that
Okay,
comes up. So the developer
okay,
will do that anyway.
okay.
Okay, fine. Any questions here?
Mm.
No.
Okay, fine. So this is story point estimation. Okay, fine. Now next is user story map. Actually, this user story map should have been in there in Jira, but looks like in trial version it's not there. At least otherwise, usually user story map in a full version it would be here above roadmap. But I don't see that user story map here. But what is this user story map for? User story map is nothing but visual representation of all the stories that is mapped to an epic. Assume these are all the epics. These are the features. These are the epics. Now, if I want to know under this view product details epic, how many stories do I have? You can see all those stories. You can see all the stories under the view product details. And again, under this also, if assume these two are completed, then it would be in green color. If this is not completed, this would be in blue color. So it visually shows you, okay, each epic has how many stories and how many stories are completed. Basically a visual representation of how the user stories are mapped across the epics and the progress. Okay, in the trial version I don't see that. That's the reason I'm not able to show. But you got the idea what I'm trying to say?
I
Is
didn't
there
get
a
it.
So this is automatically updated or according to each story
No,
that's
this is
completed?
automatic. Yes, this is again automatically updated.
Okay.
It's automatically updated in Jira. Yeah.
Okay.
See, what you do is actually, let me come back to Jira. All you play around is within
Mhm.
these 3 things: roadmap, backlog, board. Everything else picks
Okay.
up data from here, picks up data from here, and generates reports. Like for example, reports. You don't do anything in reports,
Mhm.
but it picks up data from the backlog and other places and it generates. Similarly, in user story map, it picks up data it picks up under which epic is this. Like for example, this is under login epic. What is the current status? This is not started. This is registration epic. This is completed. So it picks up data from this and builds that user story map.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can simply download that, and if you want to share it with anyone, you can do. Just like how you can download the roadmap. Like for example, oh, I did not show how to download the roadmap, right? So you can just export here, and you click on export. It shows what timeline view do you want to export it, day view, weeks view. So whichever you want, you can select. If it is week view, you can export, and if someone asks, you can send it to them.
Okay.
Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, fine. Then we'll stop here. Okay, and yeah,
Raju, just a
I think
quick
we'll
thing.
stop here and we'll catch up. Mhm.
As you said, the Navratri, I mean, I it's only if you are. I don't. Is anybody other people going? I don't think so. So we can make it tomorrow if possible, unless you
No,
are
I
going.
cannot make it.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
I'm going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
I
sure. No,
cannot
just
make it.
okay. No, because we
Yeah,
here is a weekday,
it's
so we don't have any weekdays program. That's why.
a festival, right?
No problem. Have fun.
Okay, just tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
yeah, no
festival,
problem.
right? So
That's no
yeah,
problem.
sure, sure.
Have
Thank you.
fun. Okay.
Okay, anything else?
That's it, Raju.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, sure. And about the technical training course that I was mentioning about, I told
Mm-hmm.
it's a paid one, right? Where I paid $175. If anyone is interested, let me know. I don't know, maybe we can share the amount and do it. I don't know. We can figure that out in case if anyone is interested.
I
Yeah,
love to
sure.
get. So if you,
Sorry?
I like to get it. I mean, if you want to share or
Yeah, I would
anybody,
also
Okay,
like to. Actually, I
yeah,
just really get an idea to see how it is,
okay.
and even if
Sure,
you
sure,
can
definitely.
if you can help us how it goes, how it works.
Mm. Sure, sure. Maybe in the next class I'll show you. I'll give a brief glimpse about that. If you're still interested, we can all share on that. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
Okay, fine, fine.
Yeah.
Okay then. Sure, we'll catch up day after tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks all.
Sure.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.